The 1985 Chicago Bears were almost unbeatable. So what keeps them from being considered the best NFL team of all time? This season marks the 40th anniversary of the '85 Bears. If not for one fateful game, they might have been considered the best ever. The '85 Bears had it all. A hard-nosed but charismatic head coach in Mike Ditka, a Hall of Fame running back in Walter Payton, who in 1984 broke Jim Brown's all-time rushing record and was still going strong in 1985. At quarterback, the Bears featured Jim McMahon, aka the Punky QB, who didn't always put up gaudy passing numbers, but he was simply a winner. And then there was that defense, the ultimate immovable force. They boasted 4 future Hall of Famers, linebacker Mike Singletary, and defensive ends Richard Dent, Dan Hampton, and Steve McMichael. Oh yeah, and for comic relief, they featured a 335-pound rookie defensive tackle who occasionally lined up at fullback and even got a few goal line carries. A guy by the name of William the Refrigerator Perry. The 1985 Bears steamrolled through most of the regular season. By December, this team was a heavy Super Bowl favorite. They held 9 of their first 12 opponents to 10 points or less. Average margin of victory in those games, 19 points. The Bears went into a Week 13 Monday night game against the Dolphins in Miami, having outscored their previous 3 opponents by a combined score of 104-3. The Dolphins would at least be able to put up a fight. Led by Hall of Famers in head coach Don Shula and quarterback Dan Marino, the Dolphins were 8-4 going into this game. Still, the Bears were a heavy favorite. Joe Namath, one of the analysts for that night's broadcast, compared the possibility of a Miami victory to his New York Jets beating the Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. But how did the Dolphins exactly pull off this shocking 38-24 upset? For starters, Jim McMahon was injured and backup Steve Fuller was the starting quarterback. But so what? The Dolphins ranked near the bottom of the league in rushing defense, and the Bears had sweetness. Walter Payton came into this game with 7 straight 100-yard rushing games. Just let Payton and the defense take care of business, right? Somehow things did not go according to plan. Fuller came out throwing. Even when they ran the ball, the first few handoffs went to fullback Matt Suhey rather than Payton. Rather than stick to basics, the Bears thought they could get cute on offense. Not a great strategy. The Bears' dominating defense, meanwhile, did not exactly look the part against Dan Marino. With receivers Mark Clayton and Mark Duper on the outside, and veteran all-purpose running back Tony Nathan coming out of the backfield, the Dolphins moved the ball unlike any team had done against the Chicago Bears defense all season. While Miami was on top for most of the game, the Monday night crew fully expected the Bears to bounce back. They kept within arm's reach, but ultimately fell short and lost for the first and only time in 1985. After losing to the Dolphins, Joe Namath wondered aloud if this loss might lead the team to focus more on football and less on all the off-field appearances this team seemed to relish. Think again. After a late-night flight home from Miami, several Bears spent their Tuesday at a Chicago club recording the famous Super Bowl Shuffle.
We are the Bears, shuffling crew, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so bad, we know we're good, blowing your mind like we knew we would.
In other words, suffering their first loss of the season did absolutely nothing to diminish their confidence or their cockiness. And that attitude played out on the field. They followed up the loss to Miami with 3 easy wins to finish the regular season 15-1. Then the real dominance came through. In a pair of NFC postseason games, the Bears outscored the New York Giants and Los Angeles Rams by a combined score of 45-0. They almost got themselves a rematch with the Dolphins in the Super Bowl, but Miami was upset in the AFC Championship game by the New England Patriots. So instead of facing Marino again, the Bears' defense took on a much less dangerous quarterback in Tony Eason, and they destroyed him. Eason and veteran quarterback Steve Grogan were sacked 7 times as the Bears cruised to a 46-10 victory in Super Bowl XX. So, if the 1985 Bears were so dominant, how come they never got back to the Super Bowl? They had their chances. The Bears went 37-10 over the next 3 seasons, losing in the divisional playoffs twice and in the NFC Championship game once. Buddy Ryan left to become the Eagles head coach in 1986, and Walter Payton retired after the '87 season. But the real reason the Bears never became a dynasty might come down to an old-fashioned jinx. In the third quarter of Super Bowl 20, with Chicago up 37-3, the Bears found themselves at the New England Patriots' 1-yard line. This was the perfect chance to give the greatest player in franchise history, the beloved Walter Payton, his first ever Super Bowl touchdown. But instead, Ditka sent Refrigerator Perry into the game and gave him the ball. It was amusing at the time, but diehard Bears fans are still pissed off that Walter Payton didn't get his moment of glory. Are the Bears paying for that decision? They have not won a Super Bowl in the 40 years since then. Call it the curse of the fridge.